Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode here on the Jussery Network channel. Whether you're watching us from YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you could be. Um, so today I'm sitting down with somebody who's quite vital in making the Jussery Network Summit a success. And vital, I mean, these are the guys doing our ticketing for the summit. So I'm sitting down with Benaiah. Benaiah is the founder of PayD Experiences, who are the Jussery Network's official ticketing partner for the Nairobi Summit. And we're kind of going to be discussing how their startup paid experiences is revolutionizing today I can't speak revolutionizing ticketing in Kenya, and how they are calling themselves the event sprites of Kenya, and we'll explore their journey as a young Nairobi based startup and how they are navigating the evolving event industry and their vision for supporting the events happening on the African continent, like, the Siri networks, and also kind of hear some of the unique challenges. And, Jasuri Network has experienced some of those challenges and some of the exciting opportunities as well that they're getting into. So, Benaiah, welcome. Kindly introduce yourself before we go into the questions.
Thank you, Nancy. Hi, everyone. My name is Benaiah Wepunda, founder and CEO at PayD. And basically, what we're building at PayD is a payment experience, but specifically now thinking about the entertainment sector, the creative sector, and the experience sector. So we simplify how communities, event organizers, and creative are able to curate experiences and receive payments for these experiences, manage attendees, so end to end, again, Eventbrite for Africa.
Fantastic, fantastic. Actually, I wanted you to share a little bit about paid experiences and kind of like what inspired you to start this venture. And I know we are talking about paid experiences, but there's also another side to this, which is the wallet. So some really exciting things that you guys are doing. So kindly share a little bit of that journey and kind of also what inspired you guys to get into this.
Yeah, so I think the paid experiences journey and the paid journey generally starts from the background of the co-founders. We are a team of four co-founders: Japheth, Diana, Vincent, and myself. We all have a background in freelancing. So personally, I was a student of Blue at Choir. In my second year, fee
What
became
is
an issue.
choir? What is choir? Because we have some people who might not know what choir is.
Yes, Choir is the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. Yes, so I was a student of law at the Catholic University. In my second year, fee became an issue, so I unfortunately had to take a break. So during that break, I picked up a lot of tech skills, went through Moringa School through a MasterCard scholarship, went through Poland Project, and from the tech skills, I got into freelancing a lot. So doing a lot of website development, graphic design, and one of the biggest challenges we realized is that receiving payments for gig workers, creatives in the African continent and in emerging markets generally is a hassle. And we're seeing a lot of globalization that is involving emerging markets, right? We're seeing a lot of communities, a lot of businesses looking for talent and experiences in Africa and Latin America and other emerging markets. So when we came together, we realized we faced the same problem, gig economy. So we decided to build a solution to that problem. So simplifying how payments can be received globally, into emerging markets. Like 1 or 2 years down that path, couple of months actually down that path, we realized that there's another huge opportunity in that space, which is events. So a lot of freelancers are found in communities, and these communities are organizing events. A lot of creatives are, monetizing and making money from events. So we realize that there's a big nexus between what we're building and the events slash experiences space. So we got into building paid experiences, and initially it was just simply a ticketing platform. So post your attendees buy tickets, you receive the payments, and that's it. But down the line, paid XP, we call it paid EXP. Has evolved into an end-to-end experience management platform. Right from events to travel to movies, and the whole concept is just curating very authentic or simplifying how we're able to curate very authentic experiences, African experiences and global experiences, and just simplifying how the attendees access these experiences and how you as the organizer are able to sort of organize this experience. So we love to say that, we're taking away the stress of you thinking about ticketing, thinking about attendee management, thinking about promoters, and we give you that peace of mind to allow you focus on what you do best, which is curating experiences.
Exactly. The Eventbrite of Kenya.
Yes.
Something else that actually might be worth mentioning is how long are you guys now been running paid experiences? Because you guys are quite young in that space. And you guys being young doesn't mean you don't have the muscle or the tech, because there's a lot of tech backing up what you guys are building, which I love. I have a bit of background in tech, but in the professional services side of things. So I really appreciate, kind of like the concept of paid experiences and what you guys are trying to do. So maybe share a little bit, not everything, but just a little bit about the tech supporting this platform and for how long you've been running it.
Yeah, so PayD was born in December 2022, and we
Mm,
spent almost a whole year just engaging with the market, figuring out the background tech, which is basically the payments infrastructure, the payments layer. Went live in about August of 2023, so that is now with the
mm,
core payment system. But we had started
yes,
doing ticketing like 3 or 4 months before. It was a very, I don't call it primitive, but it was a very simple system. It was just basic. I don't
yes.
know if you've interacted with WordPress. It was just a WordPress
I
site.
have. I have lots of experience with WordPress from my uni days. So
Yes.
I was among the very I'm the typical millennial. We had blogs back in the days, so I know my way around WordPress.
Yeah, so what we did is we built a WordPress payments plugin, and anytime an event organizer would want to organize an event, they'd have to reach out to us, and we create like a product on WordPress. So it was that simple. At some point, our mailing was not working on WordPress. We had to manually send emails when someone bought tickets. It was very simplistic. But then earlier this year, we launched now paidexp.com, which is like our now the end-to-end experience management system, pretty much automated. You can be able to create the event yourself. You can customize the ticket types, you can create coupons, just like a whole layer of customization options and sort of solutions for event organizers. Um, it's a web-based platform. We're not yet built. We're
Mhm.
working on a mobile app, so it's fully accessible from anywhere in the world. Payments are hosted and managed by our core now payments infrastructure from paid, we call it paid money. And we do ticketing accessible in about 5 countries at the moment. You can receive payments from anywhere in the world via card.
Yeah, and no, it's amazing. And also I love that with the event that I'm putting together for the summit. I have attendees coming from different countries, and they're all able to kind of pay as well. And they're able to pay using M-Pesa or their debit and credit card. So something Benai is not mentioning is that on their platform, they're able to kind of allow multiple types of payments. And I think the selling point for me, like what made me be like, yes, it's paid, was that it was possible for people to pay for their tickets using M-Pesa. And for people outside of Kenya, they wouldn't know how big of a deal M-Pesa is, but it's such a big deal. One of the people that already bought our tickets is in the UK physically. Like they're physically in the UK, but they paid for their ticket using M-Pesa. Like it was so crazy. And I remember also kind of, when we were talking with our community members, they were like really, really insisting we must have M-Pesa as one of the forms of payment. Now, when it comes to other ticketing platforms like the Eventbrites of this world and the Lumas, some of them don't have local payment methods. Is that's right, right? And for you guys, you are able to kind of integrate that on your platform and allow people to make these payments, and people can make payments either or with Kenya shillings or USD. So maybe just walk us briefly through the process of why some of these elements were important, and also how you are able to kind of make it a reality.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest challenges, or one of the reasons why we got into sort of localizing, payments is because um, when you just look at the African context alone, Africa is very fragmented. We're talking about 54 different currencies. And, when you go to different countries, the experience of payments is different. When you go to South Africa is heavily card, like guys use card for payments and everything. When you come to Kenya, it's heavily M-Pesa. When you go to Nigeria,
Mm,
there's more of bank than M-Pesa and card. So, we wanted to build, a platform that has the local experience and the local context in mind, right? So how can we enable you to, receive payments or, buy tickets, for the event, both locally and internationally. So opening up local markets to sort of like the global arena. Integrating that is quite a hassle, because you see you have to work with 10 different providers, 10 different currencies. We
mm.
had a couple of issues with some providers had to take down some, put others up. So it's been hectic integrating all these platforms, and even just working with different currencies is a whole thing. But we're slowly figuring out how to smoothen the process. And at the end of the day, the goal is to make it easier for the event organizer and for the ticket purchaser. We take away all the stress.
Yeah. No, I think you guys are doing an incredible job, and I'm championing you guys. All the tickets we are selling are on the paid platform. And everybody that's doing their conferences or summits in Kenya, one, you need to allow people to pay using M-Pesa. And two, we need to use paid experiences. We have to grow our own local talent, our own local startups, because Eventbrite wasn't Eventbrite overnight. It's people who had to trust that they are able to put their events on there, and they're able to kind of, bring their events to life. So for everybody who's having a conference or a summit in Nairobi, in Kenya, in Africa, paid experience is what you need to use.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Cool. Um, in terms of like the journey, I know you guys are still quite young in this venture, in this kind of startup, but what have been some of the challenges? And I think you might have alluded to some of them when you're talking about just like the multiple currencies and the multiple payments that you guys have to deal with. But what has been some of the key challenges paid as faced as a young startup? And even in that competitive ticketing and event management sector, how has that looked like?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges we faced is just like cutting through the noise. I call it cutting through the noise because there are lots of solutions out there, right? There are lots of ticketing platforms, there are lots of payments platforms, out there. So just getting the attention of the customer and showing them that hey, this is what paid offers, and this is why paid is better than X, Y, and Z is it takes a lot of convincing, for lack of a better word, right? But how we've been able to sort of go over figure out that challenge is we found like 5, 10 initial customers. We gave them so good an experience that they're able to refer us to other customers. We also referred to one of our first customers. So that's we've been it's always been about making that experience better. And even talking about making the experience better, building technical infrastructure that scales across countries is hectic. It's a whole thing. I think you've experienced this firsthand, yourself. When we have to have like, for instance, now with GDPR, we have to have servers in the EU that host all data in the EU. Now, when that server goes down, we have to figure out how to get it back up without being physically in the EU. So just scaling an African solution to global problems is a very unique challenge because you have to have, again, as you've mentioned, you have to have the muscle to think globally but build locally. That makes any sense. So
Mm.
marshal resources locally and utilize those resources to build sort of globally. And even just talking about resources, it gets expensive. It gets costly.
Yeah, tech is
It
expensive. Tech
is.
is
It really is.
expensive. Yeah.
Every day I wake up and I remind myself that I have a team that looks up to me. I have to meet payroll at the end of the month. So just putting all these things together is requires even just beyond the financial expense. It requires mental fortitude because at 22 I should be worrying about other things, not
Yes.
not salaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I totally get that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's interesting, you're talking about, the servers, tech, GDPR. Yeah, so we have been affected, we were affected slightly on that. I think one thing maybe worth mentioning is I actually got referred to paid experiences by two different people, say, on separate occasions. With the summit, I keep saying that it's celebrating African diaspora, and I really want to support local businesses, local startups. I want to be able to work with, emerging entrepreneurs, new and startups like yourself. So I was keen to find an African solution for our ticketing needs. So I approached one of the companies I was eyeing, and unfortunately, they were not providing ticketing or event management services in the Kenyan market or in the Kenyan region. And would you believe me? Somebody from that company referred me to you. They were like, "Oh, you need to speak to Benaiah because they have this, and they're operational in Kenya." And somebody else was like, "Oh, Nancy, these young kids, they have this. They're hungry. They have an amazing product." And I was like, okay, cool. Let me get a call with them. And that's how I met yourself and the other co-founder as well. And kind of like us being able to put the summit on the platform. So I think kudos to your customer service, kudos to kind of making those strong relations um in the industry. And also in terms of some of the challenges, I feel with African startups, with Kenyan startups, I think as customers, as clients, as organizers, we also need to have what is normally referred to as patient capital. And patient capital is realizing that one, some of those organizations, and with paid being one of them, they're quite young and they're going some of these challenges firsthand with you, and there will be things kind of not going as expected. The experience might not be as seamless as probably at the international ticketing platform. But if we don't support our own local businesses, our own local startups, they will not be able to grow and get to the point where some of these other platforms have gotten to. So yeah, the Siri network has experienced a couple of challenges, but I was so adamant. I was like, we have to make this work. Like, we have to make this work. And I remember giving Benaiah calls. I'm like, what has happened? Like, we've had some really tough conversations, but I think throughout the whole process, you really stood by the product, you stood by the platform, and also with the team, and just a lot of like reassurance that no matter what, everything on the platform is safe, secure, and can be traced back. So I think that was very reassuring. um, I guess then, apart from kind of the challenges and how competitive it has been, how what do you think, or what's your take on kind of this different summits or conferences that happen in Kenya? Because Kenya and Nairobi has been like you know quite the space for some of these international conferences happening. Like, what's your call out to them, and how should they be interacting with local event management companies or ticketing companies like yourself? And what do you have to tell them?
Yeah, I think first of all, these events, summits, meetups, they really they bridge a very important gap in sort of connecting African entrepreneurs, Kenyan entrepreneurs to the rest of the world. Because I tend to believe that a huge part of entrepreneurship is just liquidating, for lack of a better word, liquidating your social capital. So the people you
Yes.
meet, the people who end up being your investors, your angels, your partners, and the likes. So I consider they play a very important role in building the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I think it would also go a very like a long way if they used local products as well in the process of organizing these events, because even beyond just beyond ticketing, there is so much more that goes on in the events. There's there's videography, there's photography, and the likes. Using these local products goes even further to build the ecosystem, because then the ecosystem gets that resilience and that sort of fortitude to be able to handle, to understand how global standards. Because for instance, just by working with Jasiri, we've been able to sort of understand what threshold and what standard we need to meet to be able to serve global clients. So,
Yeah,
the
I
next
hope we have
time,
not been too stressful.
no, 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 absolutely not. We love to take every
Yeah,
experience as a learning experience. So the next time we're working with an international community, an international client, we understand that this is the threshold we need to reach, right? There are lots of features. Actually, most of the features we have on the paid platform are there because an event organizer did ticketing with us once and they requested for this. For instance, the promoters feature. So we have this feature where, as an event organizer, we have promoters who are helping promote the event and you want them to get, say, commissions or to issue discounts through them for the event, they can create like a specialized promoter link. That came because we did an event and an event organizer was like, I'm doing an event next month and I need this and that, and we're able to spin that on. So working with the local entities, local startups to grow the ecosystem goes a long way, in just empowering them and even just helping them learn from global standards.
yeah. No, I totally agree. And I've also learned quite a lot because again, it's also my first time organizing a summit of this level. And I, during like just the whole planning phase and just the whole strategy of it is because a lot of people have opened doors for me and they've given me the grace to kind of fail, to make mistakes and also learn as I go. So for me, it was also kind of important for me to give other people as well a chance and an opportunity to work together. And mistakes happen, and there's some things that are beyond ourselves. Like when it comes to tech, sometimes tech fails us and there's nothing really you can do. So I'm grateful that other people have given me the grace and given me the opportunities. And so for me also giving back to other people kind of coming up. And also the other thing is it's not even giving back. You guys are offering a service that I need. And also it's you guys are delivering as well. And I think probably over and above because with paid I get the members and the team um direct access. So I have direct customer support, unlike if I was using some other, massive international ticketing platform. I wouldn't have the kind of customer support that I have. I'm not promising Benaiah is going to handle all your problems, but you definitely have customer support that you can pick up the phone and call somebody and they can be able to help you. Okay, cool. So we've talked a little bit about some of the challenges and just the sheer amount of resilience you need to build in this industry. But what again, kind of coming on the other end of things, what have been some of the most memorable milestones or kind of like highlights for paid so far? I know a couple of them, but I want you to share.
Yeah, I think the most memorable sort of highlight is we recently hit 50 million Kenya shillings.
Wow. 50
Uh,
million, 50 Kenya shillings million. Okay.
yes.
Wow.
And that was massive because, in the fact that people have been able to trust us with 50 million Kenyan shillings of their money it's reassuring. It shows us that we're on the right path. Besides that, we're currently live in 5 countries, 5 African countries. So you
Which
can use
countries are
Pay,
this?
yeah, you can use Pay to do ticketing in Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and Tanzania. So, and
Amazing.
we're continuously integrating more countries. By the end of this year, in the next 2 months, we'll have integrated support for payments in about 20 more countries. We have a partnership that is we're finalizing on. So yeah, I think those two are the key milestones. Besides that, I think having international ticketing platform, international communities like Jasiri, and come on board and use paid
Yes.
is a very special milestone because it feeds to our global like our global mindset, and just the fact that we can get organic referrals. Actually, for
Mm.
context, we've done zero marketing for paid experiences, like zero paid marketing.
So
It's
you guys have done zero marketing, but you've been able to process 50 million Kenya shilling on your platform.
Yes, we just started doing
Wow.
marketing this month. Like it's been 100% organic, 100% referrals. Guys who found us out either from social media, from Google, but zero paid marketing. And I think that's a huge milestone because it just shows that by giving that personalized experience, we're able to build that relationship with our clients that they trust us enough to introduce us to other clients, which is it's amazing.
Wow. Wow, no, that's really amazing. And there's something also you're not mentioning. Like you guys have raised some big numbers with some big companies. I don't know whether you want to mention about that, or do you want us to kind of just continue and maybe keep people guessing? I don't know.
Yeah, to date we've raised about 71K USD
Hmm.
in funding. We won a 29K grant, USD grant from Mozilla Africa, the guys behind Firefox. We've won another 10K USD grant from the Celo Foundation, 20K from the Lisk Foundation, and we got 13K from some angel investors. So that's also it's proof in its own way that people can also trust us with their money to build and grow it beyond just
Yeah.
so it shows that the business is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. No, you guys have done incredible, I think. And I think there's only, the future is bright. You guys are credible. You have great, fantastic customer service. People are referring you, and it's not one person, it's not two people. Like you're definitely becoming a household brand name. And come next year when Josery Network does its second summit, I'm sure there's going to be way better like features and so many other improvements as well. So I can't wait, and I'm here kind of championing for you guys. Well, okay, kind of like in terms of looking forward, like where do you see paid heading in the next few years? I know you've kind of alluded a bit of like, extending to 12, 20 other African countries, but are you guys thinking of going global beyond Africa continent? Because we've been discussing and kind of saying how there could be Kenyan solutions or African solutions, but for the global market, and I think paid is geared for that. No.
Yeah, absolutely. So for paid as a whole, as a company, the vision has always been building a global neobank for the gig economy, for the digital economy, for the creative sector, for the entertainment sector, and that is what we're marching towards. And I think the vision and the mission for PayDXP follow that same direction. We are all about building global, providing a platform where you can curate global experiences, reach global audiences, access global markets. So, the next 5 years, expect to see us doing ticketing in the US, expect to see us doing ticketing in the UK.
Yes.
In Brazil, it's truly global. And I think even just beyond ticketing, as I've mentioned, one of the things that is very, very important to us is curating experiences. And curating
Mm.
experiences goes beyond just putting up an event and having things like attend. It's about how can we build experiences that you can live to remember? How can you build experiences that can set you up for your career? How can you build professional experiences, fun experiences that are true that bring the world together, for lack of a better word. And I think that's why we're really excited to start working with communities like Jasiri this early on, because we see a pathway to building global experiences again, authentic
Yeah.
global experiences through that.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I think also there's apart from, again, the way you're saying, apart from just people putting up tickets on the platform, you also do other support services around the event. So part of it being like with the summit, you guys are also coming on board on the day to help us with the whole ticketing bits of attendees when people are coming in. So I thought that was a really great add-on to besides just us listing the events on the platform. And also I might just add to people, this is not for free. I'm not getting any of this for free. It's paid for. I'm happy to pay for it as well. I believe people should be paid for for their services. So this is my honest feedback, this is my honest experience with the platform. And again, I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting and hoping that there are no other challenges that you experience with a event, but kind of also really happy. And as you guys go along this journey and even going global, I think Josery Network is there, and we are happy to support in any way we can. We hold events in London, so maybe as you guys grow, maybe that's another area we could potentially use you guys for. Great. In terms of just parting shots, what kind of advice would you give to up and coming new startups in the space? You guys have really, kind of gone through it all, raising funds, hitting some, 50 million Kenya shillings on on the platform. What are kind of like your advice to up and coming young startups like Paid?
Yeah, so I have three sort of go-to phrases when it comes to
Mhm.
building startups, especially in Africa for young people. Number one is always learn early, learn often. Um, it is very important. Like the whole concept of building a startup is identifying a problem, understanding the market, building solutions, getting feedback, and iterating on that feedback. So the more you invest in learning, the more you invest in getting feedback, the more you invest in utilizing this feedback, the faster you grow, the better your product becomes, the better your value proposition becomes. Number two is fail fast, fail forward. I love to look at failure as a stepping stone, right? Failure, because you won't know what doesn't work until you fail, right? So adapt, like accepting that mistakes can happen, and picking yourself up fast. When these mistakes happen is super important. Fail fast, fail forward. Number three is, if it is to be, it is up to you. So if anything is to work, you just have to roll your sleeves and get it to work. Um, i I personally, like, I take time to I call clients to attend to support requests, because I came to realize that there's this, we've we try to build startups around the same model that corporate is sort of built, where you have a CEO who's in some glass tower, and they just give instructions and things work. That's not how it works for startups. For it to actually work, you have to be in the ground. You have to be there. You have to talk to the customers. You have to fix the issues. If it gets to a point, even tell my team this, if it gets to a point where I don't, I can't fix a bug, or I can't understand a problem that is there with the paid system, then something is terribly wrong. Because if there's anybody who understands the vision, it is me. So I have to be there to be able to fix it with the team. So if anything is to work, you just have to roll your sleeves and get your hands dirty. Yeah, I think that's the advice I do.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Benaiah, for your time. It's been a lovely conversation. And thank you also for all the amazing work that you're doing, supporting us with the summit. The summit wouldn't be possible without people like yourself, without paid experiences making it possible. I think you guys have won in terms of just that M-Pesa feature. That was a win. And for anybody looking for a ticketing platform, for an event management platform, I think paid experiences is one to go. And yeah, for if I see any summit in Nairobi that's not using paid, man, you're failing the ecosystem. You're failing us.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's it from me. Hopefully I get to see everybody else in Nairobi for the Nairobi summit. But yeah, that's it from me. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.